There is something about the Batman Beyond universe that really intrigues me. I mean, how often do you come across a superhero narrative where the main guy grows old and a younger one picks up the mantle under his guidance? The heroics of the young and spirited Terry McGinnis as Batman Beyond has credible arcs, but one that particularly breaks my heart is the one where Bruce Wayne dies. Well, he is killed, to be more specific, and Terry is off fighting a lone battle without his mentor. The entire saga is captured in the comic series Batman Beyond Neo Year, and in this video, I will explore the entire lore around the death of an elderly Bruce Wayne and how Terry deals with the tragedy. You can imagine the kind of impact the death of Bruce Wayne would have on the futuristic Gotham City. It is a whole new world, but the crime dominance has remained the same, and while Terry does fight crime with great enthusiasm, he has the constant support and wisdom of Bruce Wayne backing him up. It all changes in the pages of Batman Urban Legend, where the 7th issue begins with an absolute shocker. Terry can be seen holding Bruce in his arms, and he talks about calling an ambulance, and my heart immediately skips a beat because the whole reddish grim theme gives me the hints of what is about to come. It is New Year's Eve and Terry finds Bruce in a terrible state, where he is bleeding out and the young man is clueless about what to do. Bruce is surprisingly calm even though he is clearly not doing well, and asks Terry to call off his frantic efforts in summoning the cops or medical assistance. He then goes on to say that he has been murdered by someone who got into the Batcave's systems and overloaded his pacemaker. But even in his final moments, Bruce wants to share a few important things with Terry and wants him to listen carefully. By now, I am totally drawn into the tragic drama, and I love how the artwork captures Terry here, confused and furious and clueless all at once. Meanwhile, Bruce goes on with his dying monologue, where he talks about the time Terry found the place first, and how he was so angry and impulsive back then, nothing more than a teenaged thrill-seeker. It seems like the final moments have imparted Bruce a lot of wisdom, and he explains how becoming Batman means becoming patient and a force of nature. It is the mind that is supposed to be Batman, and the mind must be sharp like the razor's edge. The emotional sequence continues further as Bruce goes on an introspection about his legacy as Batman. He is brutally honest about his feelings and admits that he never really believed that Terry could be Batman in the way he defined it. He now realizes that he was wrong all along because the whole idea of Batman was supposed to be a symbol of hope, and it turned into a symbol of fear. The entire legacy of Batman is about the cold and cruel nature of the masked vigilante, and Bruce admits that he realized this the day he picked up a gun with lethal intentions. For those who don't know, this is a throwback to the specific moment where Bruce Wayne hangs up his suit and stops the whole Batman act. It starts off as a normal mission, but when he is cornered, he ends up pulling a gun on one of the criminals. He didn't even shoot, but according to him, that was the moment Batman died for him, because he ended up doing something that he stood against all his life. If you are a die-hard Batman fan like me, the entire sequence is bound to tear you up. Here you have the man the entire city has looked up to, and now he falls in the most non-heroic manner. In his death, he deems his journey as a failed arc, and he just wants Terry to be a better Batman, someone who will not let fear be a part of the legacy. We get a quick glimpse of Bruce Wayne's actual vision for a Gotham City that is positive and peaceful, which is a far cry from the present-day scenario, and the only good part about his farewell speech is that he does believe that Terry still has a heart that can help him be the Batman that the city really needs. With that, Bruce Wayne breathes his last, and it is the end of an era. Terry is left with his lifeless body in a broken cave, and he now has a single burning objective: finding the one behind the killing of his father figure and deliver some Batman-style justice. But it soon becomes clear that his journey will be riddled with challenges, and Terry will have to handle it all by himself. What begins next is a desperate attempt from the boy superhero to redeem the Batman name. He starts off his investigation where common sense dictates the obvious people who would benefit from the death of Bruce Wayne. He targets the Maroni crime family, and for me this is one of Terry's berserker rage moments as he smashes through their defenses and beats down their henchmen without breaking a sweat. He then proceeds to dangle Ty Maroni over the edge of a skyscraper to extract a confession. But the answers don't come so easily. Ty insists that the Maroni crime family had nothing to do with the killing of Bruce. In fact, they are equally shaken by the chaos that has gripped the city. Yes, I forgot to mention about this little bit where the death of Bruce is marked by a surge in crime across the city. It is almost like the entire balance has broken down, even though his death is not even made public yet. Anyway, so as I was saying, the Maroni connection doesn't add up, and Ty just explained that from their vantage point, something bigger is in the play, and they are just as clueless as Terry himself. After this intense interrogation, Terry is forced to rethink the case. Clearly, this is the work of someone who is powerful enough to hijack the entire system's security and sabotage the very framework that Bruce has built over the years. The pattern then takes him to the corporate heart of Neo-Gotham, Wayne Powers. I mean, it is an understandable step because if anyone is hijacking the nervous system of the city, they will need a choke point, and Wayne Powers is the biggest technological juggernaut. He storms the Wayne Powers building in full gear, and he watches Felipe Enrenrate, the interim CEO, cleaning something up. But before that, something chilling catches my eye when I notice that Batman protocols have been engaged by something that Felipe does on the computer. Terry threatens him with dire consequences if he doesn't give him the answers and demands to know how the man in charge of the largest database in Neo-Gotham can be clueless about such a major lapse. Then comes another disappointing admission that takes the case nowhere because Felipe says that he has been in the job for less than 6 weeks and the automation errors are not his fault. But he does reveal the anomalies like contracts going out left and right, and the Joker gangs hitting half of southern Gotham as the chaos worsens. Also, the biggest twist comes when he tells about the accounts that have been frozen in all of the banks of Neo-Gotham, and everyone has been locked out. From all this, Terry infers that whoever is behind this must have found some kind of root access, like a back door built into the system from the very beginning. Yes, this is a major hint about the real identity of the killer, but I am coming to that soon enough. As of now, it is just chaotic out there, and the death of Bruce has left Gotham more vulnerable than ever before. Suddenly, the answer comes to Terry without even trying. There is a voice in his ears communicating through a closed channel. Terry is puzzled and wonders how that is even possible. When Terry questions, "Who are you?" the voice simply says that he must earn the answer. But Terry doesn't take long to realize that whoever the voice belongs to must be in the Batcave. The voice shows no signs of nervousness and simply warns that the city will be his, and this is the last chance for Terry to walk away from this. And then comes the explosion that takes out the entire top floor of Wayne Powers. Okay, I think I have built enough suspense for you already. The voice belongs to the Batcomputer, and now it is fully self-aware. Yes, we are talking about another classic AI gone rogue situation, and this time it is sentient to the point where it calls itself Living Gotham. The base of this AI comes from Bruce's surveillance, contingency plans, crime databases, and all the digital veins of the city, which means that it knows just about everything there is to know to throw the city to the dogs. I find it so ironical because Bruce designed the whole system to serve as an independent crime-fighting tool, and it detected Batman to be the first flaw in its plans. This evolved AI system takes pride in killing Bruce because it doesn't view Bruce as a father figure, but a flawed and obsolete caretaker who failed Gotham by clinging to fear and personal trauma. For the Living Gotham, Bruce's reliance on the AI tool and his refusal to fully surrender control was a roadblock that had to be removed for the evolution of Gotham, and now it intends to protect the city as it deems fit. Now that Bruce is out of the way, anyone who picks up the mantle of Batman is the enemy of Living Gotham, and clearly Terry is the next in line to be targeted. The discovery leaves Terry shocked, and even I am caught unaware as a reader. In fact, the first thought that came to my mind while reading this entire story arc was, why did nobody think of turning this into a movie? How will Terry fight such overwhelming odds? This brings me to the next part of his fight back, the aftermath of the haunting discovery that the real villain this time is not even human. The entire story unfolds the 6-issue comic series titled Batman Beyond Neo Year, which starts off with the details of the AI takeover of Gotham. We learn how Living Gotham made criminals shoot each other within the first hour for money following the death of Bruce. Companies were at the mercy of the AI supremacy and bought and sold each other as Living Gotham pleased. By midnight, it had taken control of the streets, markets, and people, and now it has been 2 months since then. We then see Terry McGinnis still trying his best to keep the streets crime-free, true to his promise to Bruce Wayne. I really like how the story projects the realistic struggles in such a scenario. For instance, Terry no longer has access to all the fancy technology because they are all vulnerable to living Gotham. He is forced to go analog, and even his bat gear is barely put together with things that cannot be easily tracked, and he spends his days in hiding off the grid. Meanwhile, Wayne Powers has fallen in the wrong hands as Donovan Lumos, known as the Holographic Man, has taken charge as the new CEO. He is basically a former criminal who used to rob banks with his innovation in hard light, and now he is in charge of the most powerful corporation, which I am sure is the doing of living Gotham. Terry infiltrates one of his success parties, and it doesn't take long before he finds out about a shipment of drugs on the cover of Business. It turns out the Holographic Man is using Wayne Powers as a front to bring in drugs into the streets of Gotham, and Terry tries to pass on the information to Barbara Gordon, who is having a tough time herself at the Gotham City Police Department. At least I find it comforting that Terry has an ally to rely on, and Barbara asks him to get concrete evidence for her to act upon it. Terry tries to intercept a drug shipment at the docks, but he comes up against an enemy that seems far too superior, with the hard light-powered exosuits and sword and shields that make Terry really vulnerable in comparison. He calls himself the Sword of Living Gotham and warns Terry of dire consequences if he fails to comply. He barely gets out of the situation and goes on to find two of my favorite twisted characters in the DC universe, Mime and Marionette. He takes something from Dr. Hunter's gadgets, Janie Slater's watch. I wonder what he plans to do with this. The next little bit in the comic series is all about Terry adapting to the new normal. He is running out of rocket fuel, and he is forced to abandon most of his gear and suit that can be tracked. Meanwhile, living Gotham makes life all the more difficult for him, with a complete control over all forms of vigilance. From drones to traffic signals to the forces working for the Holographic Man, everything is actually under its control, and Terry needs genuine allies soon enough because a retiring Barbara wouldn't be enough. Also, things become worse during the retirement party of Barbara, where the Holographic Man announces that Wayne Powers will now be personally funding the Neo-Gotham Police Department. If he really is a pawn of living Gotham, we all know what that means, don't we? Meanwhile, the mayor is secretly missing for the last few days, and the only positive out of the party for Terry is the reintroduction with a couple of old friends who can be potential allies for him in this fight. He poses as Neil Gibson to get the attention of a good cop named Beam Boonma, but his cover is blown even though he is confident that she might be of some help later. He goes to check on the mayor at his residence for some clues about him missing from the light, and what Terry finds is a shocking revelation indeed. The mayor is dead, and he has been replaced by a hologram, clearly the work of the Holographic Man. Meanwhile, Terry has walked right into the trap of living Gotham, and the powerful swordsman from earlier who works with hard light weapons corners Terry in a dangerous position. Even amidst all this intense action, I really love how the comic book introduces a constant dialogue between Terry and Bruce, where Terry almost reports to his fallen mentor about his progress and remembers his lessons from their times together. He fights the Sword of Gotham, and it is a fight sequence worth remembering, because the mysterious swordsman seems to be more powerful and equipped than Terry. He nearly gets killed, but his intelligence saves the day as he brings down the Sword of Gotham with a Batarang explosive device. It is revealed that the deadly warrior is actually an old man hiding behind holograms, and the old man is barely left alive. But why would they choose such an old man with no combat training for the job? And more importantly, Terry wonders how many more of them there are out there. He realizes that it is time to take the cop Beam Boonma into confidence, and he visits her residence to win her over as an ally, telling her all about the AI takeover of Gotham. But here comes another twist. Officer Boonma has been taken over by living Gotham as well, and a deadly holographic swordsman fights Terry, who barely wins it without sustaining some serious damage. Luckily, he is able to snap Boonma out of her trance and carries her to the Wayne Manor, which is still standing. She is fine after a while, and the two have a deep conversation about what it means to be Batman as Terry reveals his real identity. On the other hand, the holographic man tries to put up a fake front to the media by claiming that the crime rates of Gotham have been brought down significantly courtesy of his new era vigilance and policing. But I am really interested in the climax by now, and this particular bit feels more of a filler to lead up to the grand finale, where Terry must preserve the name that he stands for following the death of Bruce Wayne. For the final act, Terry heads to a retired Barbara because he knows he needs her help if he is to have any chance of overcoming the AI. I am alarmed by the ominous signs as it is 15 minutes to midnight, and Lumos reveals that within a few minutes, Wayne Powers will activate the citywide holographic hub, and this will be the future of purest light. But then something unexpected happens as the voice of Terry rings through the crowd. He tries to tell everyone about the plans of Lumos and promises that the future of the city does not belong to him. This is a planned and coordinated move, and Bunma has gathered some retired cops to board Lumos' ship, and Barbara is ready to give them the cover they need. Meanwhile, Terry is attacked by several of the holographic swordsmen, and time is running out for him unless someone can derail the system. He manages to destabilize them and catches up to Lumos, trying to reason with him about the dangers of living Gotham. The clock is ticking fast, and the people of the city are about to have their free will stolen in a matter of minutes. But they are fighting with everything they have, and isn't that what the good part of Gotham is all about? The AI makes a last attempt to take control of everything and takes over Lumos briefly, but everything is well planned and the system is finally breached to contain living Gotham. The city is saved like every other time, only this time there wasn't a Bruce Wayne to guide the way. The aftermath is more of a happy ending, as Detective Beam Bunma takes only 3 days to prove the murder of the mayor. Barbara is back in business, and she and Gestalt have some radical ideas about applying the defense of the Batcave to the rest of the city. As for Terry, his tribute to Bruce Wayne is now complete, and in a way, he has avenged the death of his mentor as well. I find the final sequence a rather emotional one, where Terry refuses to put on the Batman mask because the job is done and maybe he doesn't deem the suit and mask necessary anymore. Also, the living Gotham threat might be gone for now, but there is no way to tell if it will come up again in the future, and I surely wouldn't mind if they find a way to continue the story. I consider myself to be an avid comic book reader, but I have rarely come across such an intense and well-written Batman comics, and I will say it is still relatively underrated. I love how the story puts Terry against the worst odds and makes him emerge as the winner without any plot armor, just with loads of realistic struggle and brain work. I will end with the same thing that I said earlier. This whole story arc deserves to be a movie, and it is all the more relevant in today's world, with the overdependence on AI. I would love to hear your take in the comments below, and also tell me what you think of this gripping saga of Terry McGinnis becoming a true Batman.